All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Morris case starting soon, and we also have Dalia Depolito hearing starting soon. But remember, this isn't specifically about Dalia. It has nothing to do with her bail. It is more to do with the attorneys, and we may see some fireworks in that regard. But it has to do with whether or not the defense attorneys are going to have to pay those fees for that expert who was scheduled, and then Dalia never showed up for that visit. If I were the prosecutor, I would certainly be stomping my feet and shaking my fists and saying this isn't fair. If they're made to pay for that expert simply because Dalia and her attorney did not choose to show up for that particular examination, that would be awfully frustrating. What do you think, Ron? You think that this motion is going to go well for the prosecutor?
It very well could. As we talked about a few minutes ago, they were having trouble just getting Dalia Depolito to agree to this in the first place, and she was giving them a hard time, saying she didn't want to do it on a weekday because of anxiety or dealing with childcare. But somehow a weekend, that was okay. And then they make arrangements, say, all right, we're not going to do it during the week. We're going to make special arrangements for you and do it on the weekend. And then she just no-shows, without even an advance warning. I think the fact that she didn't warn the prosecution in advance saying, oh, I can't make it, can we reschedule, and just didn't bother showing up at all is going to go against her team and work towards the prosecution's favor.
I completely agree, especially because this isn't the first time that there's been some issues between the judge and the attorneys and the defense attorneys in this case. So it will be interesting to see. Before I go back to Morris and we start focusing on this, I do want to mention that while we've been sitting here, you've been keeping an eye on the Anthony Weiner situation. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, so Anthony Weiner, he had been charged for sending sexual messages to a 15-year-old girl. This came up, last year. It was a big deal. It ended up being influential in the presidential election when the investigation into that led to finding emails related to Hillary Clinton and her private email server that, just days before the election. So Weiner was facing charges, and then now he was then sentenced today to 21 months in prison.
Yeah, that's an interesting sentence. He actually spoke at the sentencing hearing and talked about the fact that he was sick and that he needed to have some help. Do you have any sense, from having followed this case, why it might be that the judge gave him? It was a pretty strict sentence there.
It was a pretty strict sentencing. Prosecutors were pushing for a maximum of 27 months in prison.
Right.
He got 21, or we're getting was it 21 or 22 months here? But it's still a very significant sentence here.
For sure.
And it was higher than I expected. I wasn't sure how much he was going to get, but to get nearly 2 years in prison over this, I'm not surprised that he got a prison sentence of some sort, because he has said that he has a problem repeatedly.
Well, and this isn't the first time that this has happened.
Exactly. This is not the first time. This is a man who has engaged in this sort of behavior multiple times. It has significantly damaged his own career, let alone his wife, Huma Abedin's career. And the fact that he has suffered so much as a result of his actions, yet he keeps doing it, shows that regardless of whatever kind of help he may have or problem he clearly has, a prison sentence seems appropriate, because otherwise you gotta figure he's gonna do it again otherwise.
Yeah, and these types of things in general, psychologists say, are difficult to treat. And so the fact, I think, that he had his son in one of the pictures was also sort of may have impacted the judge either overtly or subliminally. But so we won't be hearing anything from Anthony Weiner for a little bit of time, right?
Yeah, he'll be going away for a while, it looks like. And clearly, the guy has problems. He hasn't, defended himself over these latest allegations. He's just come right out and said, yeah, I got a problem. And maybe prison is the best way to address that, to kind of keep him from engaging in this sort of behavior again.